The storm did not arrive suddenly. It crept in like a living thing, slow and deliberate, swallowing the Afghan mountains in layers of black cloud and icy wind. Rain turned to needles, slicing sideways through the darkness. The kind of storm that erased footprints, blurred blood trails, and buried secrets beneath thunder. Inside the forward operating base, men spoke in whispers. "She's gone. No way anyone survives that. I saw the blast. No movement. She was right there." The name passed from mouth to mouth like a prayer already answered too late. Lieutenant Commander Mark Hale stood rigid near the operations tent, helmet still strapped, rainwater streaming down his face as if he hadn't noticed the storm at all. Around him, Navy SEALs, men who had cleared rooms under fire and walked out of ambushes laughing, looked away from his eyes. They didn't want to be the one to say it out loud. Petty Officer Ryan Cole finally broke. His voice cracked despite every effort to control it. "Sir." The drone feed went dead. Secondary explosion. "We lost our position." Hale exhaled slowly, a sound closer to a surrender than a breath. He had commanded dozens of missions, sent men into impossible odds, written letters no officer ever wants to write. But this was different. "She doesn't go down easy," Hale said quietly. Cole swallowed. "Sir, no one comes back from that." Beyond the perimeter, thunder rolled like artillery. The storm howled through the valley, where moments ago a sniper team had held overwatch on High Ridge. One of them, a woman most of the team still struggled to fully understand, had stayed behind to cover the extraction when everything went sideways. Her call sign had been Valkyrie. Officially, she was Chief Petty Officer Lena Cross, the only female sniper ever cleared for Tier 1 SEAL operations. Unofficially, she was a ghost story whispered between teams, a presence felt more than seen. And now, according to the storm, she was dead. The mission had been clean until it wasn't. High-value target. Mountain compound. Night insertion. Intel suggested minimal resistance. Intel lied. The moment the first charge breached the outer wall, gunfire erupted from positions that weren't supposed to exist. Hidden bunkers. Pre-sighted kill zones. Someone had tipped the enemy off. Contact front. RPG left. Fall back, fall back. Tracer rounds tore through the darkness. Dust and stone exploded. The calm professionalism of the SEALs snapped instantly into controlled chaos. Valkyrie was already moving. She never spoke much during missions. She didn't need to. Her movements were precise, efficient, almost silent. While others reacted, she anticipated. "Sniper Overwatch relocating," she said over comms, voice level, almost soft. "I see them." Her rifle sang once. Then again. 2 machine gun nests went quiet before the SEALs even realized where the fire had been coming from. But then the mortar hit. The explosion lifted the ridge like a giant hand, tearing rock and fire into the sky. The shockwave knocked men flat. Comm screamed with static. "Valkyrie, come in." Nothing. Another blast followed. Closer. The drone camera showed only smoke, flame, and collapsing stone. "Extraction now," Hale had ordered. "We're losing the ridge." No visual on Valkyrie. Cole shouted. "I'm holding." Her voice came through suddenly, faint but steady. "Get them out." "Negative," Hale snapped. "Fall back with the team." A pause. Then, "I can't. They're moving up the ridge. If I pull now, they'll overrun you." Gunfire cracked in the background of her transmission. "Valkyrie," Hale began. "Sir," she interrupted gently, "you train me better than this." Then the explosion hit her position. The feed went black. Now, hours later, the storm covered the mountain like a burial shroud. Search teams had been launched, then recalled. The terrain was too unstable. The weather too violent. The enemy too close. Command made the call. Kia, killed in action. A body unrecovered. Inside the med tent, men sat in silence. No jokes. No bravado. Someone had removed her name patch from the wallboard, but left the empty space where it had been. Cole stared at it until his vision blurred. "She saved us," he whispered. "She saved all of us." No one disagreed. But the mountain had not finished telling its story. High above the valley, half buried beneath rock and frozen mud, something stirred. Pain came first. White-hot, absolute consuming. Lena Cross did not scream. She woke the way she always did. Instantly aware, mind sharp even as her body screamed in protest. The world was darkness and pressure. Her helmet was cracked. Her left arm refused to move. Blood filled her mouth. She forced herself to breathe slowly. Inventory. Legs, responsive. Right arm, functioning. Left arm, broken. Ribs, fractured. Vision, limited but present. Weapon, nearby. She remembered the blast. The ridge collapsing. The sensation of falling, not down but sideways, dragged by stone and fire. She remembered making a choice. Lena shifted her head slightly. Pain exploded behind her eyes, but she ignored it. Her fingers brushed metal. Her rifle. The storm howled above, masking any sound she made. Snow mixed with rain seeped through her torn uniform, leaching heat from her body. She was alive. Barely. She dragged herself free inch by inch, using her right arm and legs, teeth clenched so hard her jaw ached. When she finally rolled onto open ground, the night greeted her like an enemy. Below, far below, lights flickered. Enemy patrols. They were moving up the mountain. "They'll think I'm dead," she whispered to herself. Good. She checked her ammo. 3 rounds in the magazine. One sidearm, half full. A cracked scope. Enough. Lena pulled herself against a shattered rock face, stabilizing her breathing. She raised the rifle, ignoring the agony in her ribs. Through the blurred scope, she saw them. Shadows moving in formation, confident now, careless. She smiled faintly. The storm roared. The first shot echoed like thunder. A man dropped. The second followed before the body hit the ground. The third round jammed. She discarded the rifle and drew her pistol, disappearing into the darkness as enemy shouts filled the night. They would hunt her. Let them. Back at the base, hours later, sensors picked up movement on the ridge. "Sir," an analyst said hesitantly, "we're seeing engagements." Hale turned sharply. "What kind of engagements?" "Enemy patrols going dark. One by one." Cole leaned forward. "You saying what I think you're saying?" Another explosion echoed faintly through the valley, distant but unmistakable. Hale felt something stir in his chest. Hope, sharp and dangerous. "Zoom in," he ordered. The drone feed flickered through the storm, and for a split second, just a heartbeat, the camera caught a figure moving through rain and fire. A silhouette, upright, walking. The first man never saw her. He moved carefully through the storm-soaked rocks, rifle raised, breath loud inside his mask. He believed the ridge was cursed now. Nothing living could survive that blast. His confidence came from certainty. That certainty died with a quiet crack. Lena Cross struck from behind, her pistol pressed tight, her broken arm locked against her chest. One precise shot. She caught the falling body before it hit the ground, lowering it gently, almost respectfully. "Stay quiet," she whispered, though the man could no longer hear. Pain blurred her vision, but training kept her upright. Every step sent fire through her ribs. Blood soaked her sleeve. Hypothermia crept into her bones like a patient predator. She moved anyway, because she was not done. Down the mountain, the enemy commander barked orders into a radio, frustration cutting through his voice. Patrols were not responding. Positions were going silent. Men sent to investigate were not returning. "This is impossible," he snarled. "She is dead." Another explosion echoed from the ridge. Not a mortar, a planted charge. His eyes widened. At the forward operating base, the command tent was alive again. "Sir, confirmed hostile casualties. Multiple," the analyst said, voice tight. "Pattern suggests single operator." Cole's hands trembled as he leaned over the screen. "That's her. That's how she moves." Hale said nothing. His eyes were locked on the storm-wrapped ridge. He had learned long ago never to believe in miracles. But he believed in her. "Prep a recovery team," he ordered quietly. "Full kit. We're going back." "Sir," Command declared her Kia. "Command isn't standing on this ground," Hale snapped. "I am." Lena reached a shallow cave just before her legs gave out. She collapsed inside, gasping, vision narrowing. The storm screamed at the entrance. but inside it was dark, sheltered. She tore open a medical pouch with her teeth and jammed gauze against her side. Gritting through a scream, she refused to let escape. She had lost track of time. Minutes? Hours? Her comms unit crackled faintly. She had shut it down earlier to avoid detection, but now she thumbed it on, adjusting the frequency. Static. Then, Valkyrie, if you can hear this. Hale's voice. Her chest tightened. We're inbound. Give me anything. Anything at all. She pressed the transmit. Storm's loud, she said hoarsely. But I'm louder. Silence. Then the channel exploded. Contact. We have contact. Cole's voice broke. Holy hell, Valkyrie. She allowed herself one breath. One. Still walking, she said, but not fast. Hold position. Hale ordered, urgency bleeding through his control. We're coming to you. She looked at the cave entrance, then at the darkness beyond. They're regrouping, she said. If I stay, they'll surround us both. You're not engaging alone, Hale said. A pause. Then, softer. That's an order. She smiled weakly. Then make it quick, sir. The enemy found her trail soon after. Blood on stone. Disturbed snow. Broken bodies. They advanced cautiously now, fear creeping into their movements. This was no longer a hunt. It was something else. A reckoning. Lena waited until the first flashlight beam cut into the cave. She triggered the charge she had set from scavenged explosives and debris. The mountain roared again. Rock collapsed. Men screamed. Fire and smoke filled the night. She dragged herself out the back of the cave as the entrance sealed in rubble. Her vision swam. Her legs shook violently now. Every instinct screamed at her to lie down. She didn't. She moved downhill, toward extraction. The SEAL recovery team advanced through the storm like phantoms, weapons up, eyes sharp. They found the first body, then the second, then the third. Cole stopped dead when he saw the trail. She did all this, he whispered. Hale knelt, touching the blood-soaked ground, still warm. Keep moving, he said. She's ahead. They heard the gunfire before they saw her. One shot, then another. Precise. Controlled. Too controlled for someone who should be dead. They broke through the trees just in time to see her. She emerged from the storm slowly, staggering, weapons still raised. Her face was streaked with blood and dirt. Her uniform torn. One arm useless at her side. But she was standing. She lowered the pistol when she saw them. That's our cue, she said, voice barely above the rain. Cole ran to her, catching her as her knees buckled. You stubborn, impossible. She allowed herself to lean into him. Hale stepped forward, removing his helmet. For a moment, the battlefield commander was gone. In his place stood a man staring at something he had already mourned. You were reported, Kia, he said quietly. She looked up at him, rain washing blood from her brow. Sir, she replied. Respectfully, the storm lied. She collapsed then, consciousness slipping as hands caught her, voices shouting for medics. But the smile stayed. Hours later, in the medical bay, machines hummed steadily. Doctors moved with urgency, then relief. She's stable, one finally said. Lucky doesn't begin to cover it. Hale stood outside the room, arms crossed, eyes closed. Cole exhaled shakily. They were already writing her story, sir. Hale nodded. They still are. Weeks later, the footage leaked. Not officially, never officially. A grainy clip, a storm, and a lone figure walking out of it. The whispers changed. She didn't die. She finished the mission. She came back. Among the teams, among the quiet corners of training rooms and late-night briefings, her name became something more than a call sign. A reminder that legends aren't born when bullets fly. They're born when everyone thinks you're gone, and you keep walking anyway.